Hello there. My name is Dr. Linda Gorman, and I'm a neuroscientist. Neuroscience is a really big word, but a neuroscientist is a person who knows a lot about the brain. I'm here today to talk to you about how you can help to make your brain healthy or make it feel good. It's really easy, and anyone can do it. I love to talk about brain health because it's spectacular, and spectacular means great. When your brain is spectacular, you're a happy and healthy person. This is a brain fact story. We have to know and understand some things about the brain if we're going to understand how to keep our brain healthy. Today, Denny and I are going to be looking at some brains to try to decide if bigger brains are better than smaller brains. Now, in order to decide if bigger brains are better, we're going to have to be scientists. But don't worry, because kids are natural scientists. Denny, you want to be a scientist? A scientist asks questions. Do you ask questions? Of course you do. A scientist then tries to find the answers to the questions that they ask. And that is what we're going to be doing in this story, which is called Are Bigger Brains Better? Now, the first thing that we know, Denny, is that all animals have some kind of a brain. Even a bumblebee has a brain. But brains in different animals look different. Got a question for you, Denny. Why do brains in different animals look different? Let's see. The job of the brain is to help animals do behaviors that help to keep them alive. Behaviors are just things that animals do. So, another question. Denny, what do you think? What are some of the behaviors that your brain helps you to do to stay alive? Okay, one of the behaviors that helps us to stay alive is eating food, just like Denny here is eating food. We know that people eat food, and we know that animals eat food too. Hey, Denny, I think that kitty's trying to come and get your food. All right, so if animals eat food and people eat food, then the brains of animals and people must be the same, right? Well, let's look. Here's a picture of a human brain, and here's a picture of a cat brain. Do they look the same? Nope. The human brain is bigger and bumpier. The human brain's also rounder. Okay, so both humans eat and cats eat, and we both have brains, but they're different. What makes them different? Let's think about this. What are some of the foods that you like to eat? Spaghetti's a yummy food. I love to eat spaghetti. Do you think kitties eat spaghetti? Nope, I don't think so. So people and cats eat different foods. Maybe that's why their brains aren't the same. Okay, it looks like Denny's drinking some water here. So that's another behavior that helps us to stay alive, is drinking water. We have to drink things to stay alive. Water's good, but we can drink other things too. Oh, looks like Denny's got a friend to help him drink water. Cute little puppy. So both humans and dogs drink water to stay alive. So maybe human and dog brains are the same because they both drink water. Here's a picture of a human brain and here's a picture of a dog brain. Do they look the same? Nope. A human brain is bigger and bumpier, and human brain's also rounder. Okay, both dogs and humans drink water. They both have brains, but they're different. Why? Well, are you holding a glass and drinking water like Denny's doing? Or are you sticking your head in a bowl and using your tongue to lick the water like the doggy's doing? I hope you're drinking a glass of water like Denny is and not licking water out of a bowl. So humans and dogs drink differently. So maybe that's why humans and dogs have different brains. Shh. Another behavior that all animals have to do to stay alive is sleep. Looks like Denny's found a little rat friend that's sleeping with him. Now, we know that both rats and humans lay down and close their eyes when they sleep, just like Denny, who's laying down and closing Denny's eyes. So maybe a human brain and a rat brain are the same. Here's a human brain and here's a rat brain. Do they look the same? Nope, the human brain is way bigger, and the rat brain is in a straight line, and the human brain is rounder. Okay, both humans and rats lay down and close their eyes to sleep. They both have brains, but they're different. Why? Let's see. When do you sleep? Shh, we gotta be quiet. Denny's still sleeping. When do you sleep? That's right. People sleep at night. Okay, who knows when rats sleep? Rats usually sleep during the day. Did you know that? Do you sleep during the day? Are you asleep now? No, we usually sleep at night. Humans and rats both sleep at different times. So maybe that's why human and rat brains are different. Okay, so Denny and his friend have shown us that our brains help us to do behaviors like eating and drinking and sleeping. These are behaviors that help to keep us alive. And we saw that animals do behaviors like eating, drinking, and sleeping too. But even though both animals and people do the same behaviors to stay alive, our brains look different than the brains of animals. Denny, why do you think that is? Let's think about that. Okay, what are some of the other behaviors that you do? What are some of the other behaviors that people do? Okay, well, we know that little kids, they like to run around outside. They like to swing on swing sets. Do you think animals like to do those behaviors? Nope. All right, what are some of the other things that people do but animals don't do? Let's look. Okay, I can read, and in school, people learn how to read. Pretty soon, all of you will be able to read. But can animals read? Here's Denny and his friend the kitty. They look like they're reading. Do you think that the little cat's reading? It looks like the cat's reading, but do you think the cat's reading? Brains help you to read. Humans and cats both have brains, but cats, they can't read. I'm not sure. Denny, can you read? We'll have to see. Okay, how many of you have used pencils or pens or crayons to write or draw something? Humans can hold pencils and pens and crayons to write something. But do you think Denny's friend, this little puppy, can hold a pencil or a pen or a crayon? I don't think so. I've never seen a dog write. Brains help you to write. Humans and dogs both have brains, but dogs can't write. Okay, how many of you like to play video games? Do you think a rat can play a video game? Rats can't play video games. Have you ever played video games with a rat? Nope, nope, nope. Denny, can you play video games? I don't know if Denny can either. Again, brains help us to play video games, and both humans and rats have a brain. Rats can't play video games, though. We know that brains help us to do behaviors, and there's some behaviors that both humans and animals can do. Do you remember what those behaviors are? Denny, why don't you show them? That's right. Humans and animals can eat, they can drink, they can sleep. Now, humans, or people, can do behaviors that animals can't do. We talked about some of those. Do you remember what they were? That's right, Denny. Humans can read, humans can write, and humans can play video games. Dogs, cats, and rats, they can't do those behaviors. Now, I'm going to tell you that the more behaviors that you do, the bigger your brain is. So if that's true, that if you do more behaviors, you have a bigger brain. Okay, Denny, who do you think has the bigger brain? Would it be the person, the cat, the dog, or the rat? Well, I just told you that the more behaviors you do, the bigger your brain needs to be. And we already found out that humans do more behaviors. So that means humans need a bigger brain. Okay, Denny, we're going to look at some real brains again. Here's a human brain and here's a rat brain. Who do you think, Denny, has the bigger brain? That's right, the human. Now let's make the rat brain bigger so that we can look at it better. Looking at the human brain and the rat brain, what's different about them? Well, what do you think, Denny? I think the human brain has a lot more bumps than the rat brain. The rat brain is pretty smooth. Now, Denny, do you remember who does more behaviors, the human or the rat? That's right. The human can read, write, and play video games. The rat can't. If you do more behaviors, it looks like not only do you have a bigger brain, but you have a bumpier brain. I wonder why. Okay, Denny, let's look at the other animals. Here's the human, the dog, the cat, and the rat brain. Who do you think has the bigger brain, Denny? That's right. You're a pretty good scientist. It's the human brain that's bigger. And who does the most behaviors? That's right again. It's the human. Now, who has the bumpier brain? Looks like there are bumps on the dog and the cat, but who has the bumpier brain? Yep, you're right. It's the human again. And who does the most behaviors? Again, it's the human. Okay, now if we compare the cat and the rat, and the dog and the rat, and the dog and the cat, let's just look and see what we see. Okay, the rat brain is always smaller and smoother, less bumps, but dogs and cats do more behaviors than rats. Now there's lots of arguments about who has the bigger or the bumpier brain, whether it's the dog or the cat. Dogs are definitely bigger, but both are bumpy. So doing more behaviors means you have to have a bigger brain. But why is the brain bumpy? Okay, Denny, here's some pictures of the animals and the people we've been talking about. So there's a person, there's a dog, there's a cat, and there's a rat. Now, who do you think has the biggest head? Okay, the human does. Now, does anyone remember who had the smoothest brain? Denny, do you remember? That's right, it was the rat. Now, did you know that if the human's brain was smooth, it would be a lot bigger? The human would need a huge head just like this. Now, if our brain were smooth, our heads would have to be huge. Denny, let's have the people at home put their hands over their head and touch their fingers. Okay, that big circle that they made around the head, that would be what your head would have to be like if your brain was smooth. Now, do people have huge heads like that? No. Do you know why? Because it would be too hard to walk around on two legs. So in order to do all the behaviors that people need to do to stay alive, like eating and drinking and sleeping, just like the other animals, but then to do behaviors that the other animals can't do, like reading, writing, and playing video games, then we need a big brain. But We also need a small head so we can walk around. So our brain is both big and bumpy. Denny, I like to do lots of behaviors, so I think big and bumpy brains are definitely better. Thank you so much for helping me to figure that out. Thank you so much for letting me and Denny talk to you about whether or not bigger brains are better. I've enjoyed spending time with you today talking about the brain, and I hope that you've had some fun and you've learned something about brains. Remember, bigger and bumpier brains mean that the animal can do more behaviors. It doesn't mean that the animal is smarter, they just do more behaviors. And all animals have some kind of a brain because the brain keeps the animal alive. When animals do more behaviors, like reading and writing and playing video games, they need a bigger brain. But because humans can't have huge heads or they'd fall over all the time, they have bumpy brains, which make them even bigger. So bigger and bumpier brains are better for an animal if they have to do lots of behaviors. And behaviors can be fun, and doing lots of behaviors helps your brain stay healthy, and that's spectacular. So thank you all for being scientists with me and Denny. And remember, brain health is not just spectacular, it's fun too. And Denny and I would also like to thank the people at Johns Hopkins University, especially Dr. Ron Daniels, for helping us to figure out that bigger brains are definitely better.